Welcome back, everybody, to the next installment of Florida Moto Talk, where we come together to talk about motorcycles in general. We talk about used bike deals. We scour the internet to find the best prices for used motorcycles, and then we share them with you. And then we also talk about motorcycle racing sprinkled in between those deals. It's been a real busy couple weeks for racing for sure. Very happy to be back on the stream. I know it's been a while, but I'm happy to get right back into it. How are things going for you, Tristan?
Good, man. Good. I had a exciting weekend at Jennings last weekend. Um, Before we get into the racing, I guess we'll just hit this quick. I was all set to go for 3 days of riding at Jennings. Got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, drove 300 miles, got to the track, unpacked everything, rode 2 sessions, and 2 laps into my third session, the bike starts making a horrendous noise. So pull way off the track as to not upset anyone and climb off the bike and start looking around. And my header from the top cylinder is in 2 pieces. So basically thought that was it for the weekend. By noon, we were already packed back up and figured we'd just go hang out at the place we rent, make a little mini vacation of it. And then I'm at the track hanging out, trying not to cry around noon on Sunday. And shout out to Matt from Florida Moto Talk on the Facebook page. He hits me up and says he's got the piece I need. So kind of turned to my wife and said, "Am I driving to Tallahassee right now?" And she said, "You probably should." So ran and got that. Uh, Started trying to put the bike back together where we were staying. Didn't have enough tools. Loaded her up. Took her to the track. Borrowed some tools. Put her back together. Got her fired up just before 6 p.m. Made sure we were good for the Monday, and then set everything back up and rode on Monday. But so it's been a crazy couple of weeks for work. I had to drive to Orlando and back, then Jennings, Tallahassee, Lake City for fuel. I've seen a lot more of Florida than I'd like to in the last 2 weeks or so. But man, with the time change and everything, I'm still all out of sorts. But glad to have racing back on. Glad to come home from the track in one piece overall, other than the header I started with. That's in 2 pieces now, and ready to get back into this flow before I bugger off out of town again next week.
Yeah, man, and it's so crazy how it seems like the worst things always happen at the track, but you can usually find somebody to hook you up with exactly what you need. It's so weird how that works out.
Yeah, and you can test everything all week long, all off season, all whenever, and if it's going to break, it's going to do it at the track. 300 miles away from your nice complete toolbox and stuff like that. So it's I'm the one who wanted to ride a 20-year-old Ducati, so it's something I'm going to have to get used to, I guess.
Yeah, and at least you didn't have to swap a motor out because I've seen somebody do that at Jennings before too. It was crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
Right there in
It's
the pits, man. Just swap the motor. Like, not only did they have the parts to swap it, but they had a spare motor
yeah,
and
well,
dropped it in a Ninja 400.
my dad was one of those guys racing 80s Ducatis. He always had an extra motor with him, so that's not the life I want. Hopefully I'm done for a while.
Yeah, man. Or maybe we can get you on some of these good bike deals that we're about to share.
Yeah, yeah. It's all those
Sweet.
damn red Ducatis though keep catching my eye.
Yeah, that's the hard part, huh? Um, well, yeah, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of racing that's going on now. We're a little bit behind at this point, but I think we should at least talk about our predictions from the 200. I mean, we don't have to go too far into it, but yeah, let's look at our predictions from the Daytona 200 just for a little bit of bragging rights here. But do you remember who your picks were? Just your top three.
Yeah, I did real bad. I believe I went Eslick, Posh, Hayes, and I only had one guy even in the top 10, which was Posh in seventh. So I don't even know exactly what happened. I was dealing with catastrophe at the track when the Daytona 200 happened. So I've seen the highlights, but they weren't very comprehensive. So it, yeah, Posh was seventh. I predicted him second. Eslick 14th. I predicted him first. And Hayes was a DNF, and I predicted him third. So If I remember correctly, you did a hell of a lot better than me with your predictions.
Yeah, I had Heron, Hickman, and Posh, I believe. And yeah, Heron came around to win it
Yep.
again, back to back, man. And he did it. I mean, it was a pretty strong win too on his part. I mean, he looked great. Um, Almost kind of casually, it looked like it didn't look like he was really struggling at any point through it. Just kind of just put his head down, ran his own race, did his thing, and I mean, it worked out again. Um,
I
but
mean,
I
what, 45 seconds to second place?
yeah,
I mean, that's kind of unheard of in the Daytona 200.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got they got him dialed in now, and I mean, he would have even had another. I mean, like we talked about in the last video too. I mean, he had a mechanical last time out, so might have even been another win under his belt. But I mean, they've been getting that thing dialed in, so I'm not too surprised by that result at all.
Yeah,
Um,
Flores, who rode that bike all year last year, he had a very different result. Riding the Attack Yamaha, that ride did not go well. I think that was what, lap 2, the bike broke on him.
yeah, he wasn't happy about that either, man. He was having to come apart. I mean, as anybody would.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's got to suck to watch your bike go on to win the race, or the bike you were on all year, and then you DNF on lap 2. That's got to hurt.
yeah. Yeah, we could see. We all felt that. And let's see. I had Hickman, who also didn't have too great of a time out there. um so yeah, I wouldn't have got any points for him on the fantasy team. And then Posh, who he finished down in seventh, but he had an issue for one of the pit ends. He had an issue with fuel. He was just out a little bit too long, and then he had to baby that thing in for an entire lap. So that hurt him pretty good. And he gave the whole he was doing the whole shimmy deal where they're just riding the bike and they're
Yeah.
starting it and shaking this thing and just praying that they can get it back. And man, he took that thing around the oval and he was able to just sort of ferry that bad boy back in. But that really hurt him. But I mean, he finished down in seventh. I mean, it's still a heroic finish. I mean, for the Daytona 200 for sure. But
Yeah. Shout out to Kayla, first Daytona 200, finished 11th.
yeah, 11th. That's crazy. Where'd PJ finish? 13th.
13th.
So I would hope that he would have heard about that from the team.
Yeah. I don't think he was very happy. He had
Mhm.
a rough weekend, man. He high-sided, I think, in like first practice. Like he had a rough weekend. So, and then their third bike for the team, Corey Alexander, 15th, but he's a big dude. So, I mean, on that back, on the tri-oval, I think he's got to be over 6 foot. Um, he's pushing a lot of wind. So, from what I saw, he was pretty happy with that result considering his size.
Mhm.
But yeah, Kayla out of that 3-bike Rahal team, she brought it home first. So, congrats to her. That's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
It looks like she put about 14 seconds on PJ. So I
Yeah.
mean, man, that's some bragging rights right there. I wouldn't let him live that
Yeah.
one down if I was her.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, that was a good race. But yeah, Heron, Ty Scott, and then Gillum. I actually had Ty Scott for my we did like our little surprises section too. He was in my surprise section. I just figured we were gonna get something special from Ty Scott, and man, he was flying. That
yeah.
kid's gonna be a problem this year in Super Sport. He is
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
be a problem.
I mean, he was the only one who could take
See
it
it.
to Forez last year, so
Yeah, I mean we're seeing it. He's
he's
another
hungry.
might be another great in the making. We're watching it.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, let's hop over to some MotoGP real quick. I mean, you were able to catch the Qatar races, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I fell asleep at the end of the sprint, but I'd been up since 3 a.m. and broken a bike and driven 300 miles that day, so
Hmm.
uh but otherwise I caught all that. Um Bender, man, what is with him in Qatar? He's just always there at that track.
He's just a flyer, man. And with the first race too, you always have to take the results from the first race with a grain of salt. for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bender was on all weekend.
I
Um,
mean, and last year Qatar was at the end of the season and Bender was still there. There's something about that track, man.
yeah, I mean, you'll get weird combos like that sometimes where you just get bikes that just work on certain tracks, like the Hondas at Coda, for example.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, Bender's pretty. I mean, he's mostly relevant most of the time, anyways. I mean, you just get bust out weekends like that as well at certain tracks, but he's usually there or pretty close, with a couple just bad weekends sprinkled in there.
Yeah. So to stick with KTM, it's I don't know what Jack Miller's contract is, but even if he's got a contract, we already know from last year KTM's not afraid to cancel him. He's going to be in trouble this year because if KTM wants to hold on to Pedro Acosta, they're going to have to give him that factory seat next year.
Yeah, I think that's man. We're only one race in. I think that's wrapped up. Did you see on the yeah, and on the our Florida Moto Talk Facebook page, man, as soon as like Pedro got out there in the full length race, I was like, oh, there goes Miller's seat, man. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's over. But I also posted another short clip that was from Pedro and his team like immediately after the race. And they were pretty much telling him, like what you just did was amazing. They're like, dude, you don't even realize like what you just went out there and did just now. Like you can't even like comprehend it right now, like because it's just so big for the sport. And I mean
Yeah.
for him too. I mean he like literally built a legacy off of one race. You know what I mean? Like his first Moto GP race, and he's literally has just set the foundation for what's going to be his legacy. Because
Yeah.
there's no I mean, as long as he stays like injury free, you know what I mean? From what we saw, I mean, there's no reason where he's just not going to keep in. I don't see any reason how he would not keep improving at this point. That
Yeah.
would have been his hardest
Yeah.
race. You know what I mean? That would have been the hardest thing for him to get out there and do. And
And I could be talking out of my ass, but wasn't his first Moto 3 race ever? Didn't he start from like pit lane or the back of the grid or something and he went on to win the damn thing? Like he had a crazy start in Moto 3 too. So, I mean, he's not afraid to show up as a rookie, that's for sure.
yeah, I mean, he's been on the hype train for a while. We just been just waiting for him to get out there and see what he can do. Um, I mean, I think more people were probably watching him than Mark Marquez at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I honestly, about halfway through the race, I suddenly remembered Marquez was on a Ducati because I'd forgotten all about him because I was so busy watching Acosta.
Hmm. And sprint race. Um, Top three were Martin Bender, and then Aleix, who also flew. But Pedro finished eighth, which once again, I mean, just your first race, a sprint race, which I mean, it's just balls to the walls the whole
Yeah.
entire time, just
Yeah.
flat out. You know what I mean? He finished eighth. He finished top 10. Let's look at some of the people, like some of the names that he beat. You know what I mean? So let's see. He beat Maverick Vinales, who's been on the Aprilia, should be comfortable on it by now. He beat Jack Miller. Miller's second season on the KTM. He beat Jack
Yep.
Miller. Factory Ducati rider Jack Miller.
Mhm.
He beat Marco Bezzecchi. I mean, Bezzecchi just had a rough weekend all weekend though. I don't really even know what was going on with him. I definitely expected a lot more. Um, Beat Fabio Quartararo, world champ. Oliveira, Raul Fernandez. Don't get me started on them. We'll just keep going down the list.
Yeah, and Raul
Yeah,
Fernandez
yeah.
flying this weekend too.
He definitely had his moments. But yeah, Pedro beat Mir, Zarco, Mir, another world champ. Um, I mean, it's crazy. That was just a
Yeah.
crazy result. Um,
And I'm not too worried about Bezzecchi because Pecco struggled on that 23 Ducati as well at the beginning of the season. And it took him
mhm.
a minute to kind of I mean, he was quick, but it took him a little while to get his feet under him. Which Bezzecchi capitalized on last year and was leading the championship at the beginning of the year on the the year-old Ducati that they had all sorted out. So he's complaining of the same stuff Pecco was when Pecco first got his hands on that bike. So I think Bezzecchi will be okay, but I don't think he's going to be okay enough to beat the new Ducatis because those guys were so happy right from the get-go. That's scary. Those Ducatis are going to be tough to beat this year.
Yeah, I mean, with the Ducatis, every season as of late, like you said, they at the beginning of the season, they it takes them a while to get up to speed and to get all those kinks worked out with the new bikes. And we're not seeing that from this first race at all. Man,
No.
those 24s, like they're out of the box. Um, Bagnaia was complaining after a few races in last season about the 23, and he was saying that the bike was so stable that he couldn't tell when he was pushing it too much just because the bike
Yeah.
just felt so good everywhere. And it caused them to crash out. And he got real frustrated about it because it's like, the bike felt good. I don't understand what happened. And for these guys, that's like the worst thing that can happen to them is to have a
Yeah.
crash and not
Yeah.
understand why. And yeah, with these 24s, man, I'm sure there's still a couple chinks somewhere that we haven't seen that Qatar wasn't able to bring out, but as of now, it's not looking good for everybody else. Not looking
No.
good.
No.
um, but still, I mean, you still have a KTM and then the Aprilia in the top three in the sprint race, so there's hope there. But the sprint races, I mean, we also know that Bagnaia he doesn't go balls out for the sprint races. He, the guy's 27 years old right now, and he's pretty much like at the maturity level that he's at, he might as well be the old man on the grid, you know? He might as
Yeah.
well be older than Aleix at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Because he like the sprints, he doesn't care about the sprints. And do you really need to care about the sprints? You know what I mean? It's half
Yeah. As long
points.
as you're picking up some points.
Yeah, there's no reason. I mean, get you a couple points. If you can get like a top five, great. I mean, if you can get a win, without having to risk coming home with no points, then absolutely go
Yeah.
for it. And Pecco would do that. But as we saw at Qatar, he doesn't show up until it's race time, and that's that full length race. And then he just pulls the pin and he's gone, man. I mean, this Joker, he checked out for the entire full length race. And
Yeah.
anytime like Bender would try to push, you would see Pecco just roll on a little bit more
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
break Bender, man. Like he was just breaking him, like Bender's got all the fight in him, but Pecco was on another level. And it's crazy to see like Pecco just control a race like that on this brand new bike, but back to back world champ again. Joker's mature now. He's already looking at the title. And
Yeah. Yeah.
contrast that with Martin. I mean, Martin he still looked good too. He made reasonable decisions this time because I still feel like he lost the title for himself last year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's world champ material. He could have won it by now, but he just does silly stuff. He just makes silly calls every now and then, pushes when he doesn't have to put. He's got no chill. Is the best way to explain him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean,
he,
look how the
yeah.
season ended in Valencia with him and Marquez both flying through the air. So
And he finished third, which I'm sure that hurt him, but it gives us hope that he's thinking about the future now. That
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
humble enough. He's like, I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna bring it home in third. We got a lot of racing to do, a lot more racing. Um, but there was so much going on. Looking at the finishes, the top three were pretty much what we expected. I mean, we knew Bagnaia, we knew Martin were going to be there. Bender, looking at him over the weekend, we knew he was going to be there too. Uh, Marquez didn't know what to expect, but there he is, finished fourth, like a
Yep.
solid fourth. Bastianini was fifth, right behind him, which we knew the beast was going to bounce back once he got over the injuries. I mean, we knew he was going to be there
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Real good weekend for Factory Ducati, first and fifth place in the long race. Um,
I mean, Acosta was up there to fourth. He was ahead of Marquez. I had a feeling when I looked up and saw there was still like 10, 11 laps to go. I had a feeling he was going to lose those tires. Um, I mean, rookie, first time full race. I mean, you had to know it was coming. But I mean, like you were saying, what he did was still incredible.
Yeah, he absolutely knew he was smoking the tires. And in one of the post race interviews, I mean, he said, it would be better to smoke the tires and to get up there with the top guys so he could see what they're doing and start to learn from them, knowing that he
Yeah,
would fade back afterwards. And I'm like, you can do that at this point because, like I said, this Joker's already building his legacy. He's not going. I mean, KTM's going to keep him for the foreseeable future.
yeah,
Even if he has a crap season, they're still going to keep him. He's not going anywhere. It'd be too dangerous to let him go anywhere else at this point. So he's got nothing to lose. I mean, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's in the Tech 3 team, in the gas team, and he's just it's his first year in GP. So all he really needs to be doing is not chasing the title, but getting out there and learning.
yeah, yeah.
And that's what he's doing. And he's looking real freaking good doing it. I mean, he looked comfortable up there with Marquez. It didn't look like he was creating any dangerous situations or anything like that. I mean, he looked like, like that's his pace.
Yeah,
That's his
yeah.
pace without getting too crazy. So imagine what we're gonna see when he's fighting for a win.
And he's got all the power right now too. Like you say, he can totally focus on learning, and he's still going to have that factory seat next year
Yeah, because it's
because
not going.
KTM knows that Aprilia needs some new blood. I think at this point, they'd be desperate for him. Honda wants Marquez V2 if they could get him. So I mean, KTM's basically going to have to do whatever Pedro wants to keep him happy. So if I were him for his career and longevity, I would hope that he just kind of. I want to see some flashes of brilliance, but I hope he really uses this year to learn, and then he gets that first year in the factory seat and just comes out swinging.
Yeah, that would be the time, but definitely not this year. Yeah, just learn, chill, keep doing what you're doing, Pedro. You're gonna be a flyer,
What do you think? Is he going to get a win this year?
man. Because the talent this year, though, your top three guys are, I think they're good enough to keep him away from a win,
Yeah,
unless he. I mean, it would have to be something like it would have to be something timeless for him to get a win against the top three that we're looking at right now, because they're. I mean, they're all freaking. I don't like to throw around the A word, the alien word, but I think we're getting there.
yeah.
Let's give it a couple more races, but we're getting closer to that A word, man. Um,
Hey, you never know what happens when it rains because
yeah,
he's not fighting for the championship this year. If they get
hmm
a few wet races, he may have a go this year.
yeah, that's what. And like I said, with these types, you can't predict it, but just, I don't know because it'd have to be magical. But Jorge Martin, Bagnaia, I think they're gonna pretty much run it all season, and to beat them, you're gonna have to do something spectacular.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think we're gonna see them go back and forth again. Um, you mentioned Honda too, which man, there's no way that we can talk about this without talking about Honda. Man, Luca Marini, dude, what was going on with him? This guy is just so I mean, he was set up. He's in the VR team, got the best bike on the grid. You got the Ducati, you got it dialed in, but this Joker just jumps ship, goes to Repsol Honda to be on the Honda factory, which they're we don't know what they got going on right now. I mean, they're throwing everything at the wall just to see what sticks.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have no idea what would have possessed him to go jump on that Honda bike, but he finished 21st in the sprint and then 20th in the main race. And in the main race, the only person that he beat was Jack Miller, which Raul Fernandez he didn't finish. So he beat Jack Miller for 20th place. Man, like what? I mean, I guess I can kind of see one reason that he would jump ship and go to Honda just to say, I'm on a factory. I don't want to wait for the factory Ducati spots to open because they're probably not going to open for the foreseeable future. But on the VR6 or the VR46 team, I mean, you're you're good there. I mean, that is the closest thing you're going to get to a full factory on the grid at this point. right next to Pramac, of course. But all these teams they're all in cahoots. I mean, it's not like that you're out of the loop staying on that bike. But to go to this Honda and then have a finish like that, I mean, maybe he's hoping that he can develop that bike and build it. But after this weekend, I don't know.
I think he saw that taking that ride was a risk, but probably his best shot at a world championship. If Honda can figure something out and he's their guy on that bike, then he's ready to go. Whereas Ducati already has it figured out, but he's got Pecco, Martin, Bastianini, and realistically Bezzecchi all ahead of him in the food chain. So he's fifth in line to that, wonderful factory Ducati seat. Realistically, it probably wasn't going to happen. So I guess he just took the bargain or
Took the cash.
well, no, the risk of hopping to Honda, hoping they figure something out. And I mean, he seems like a good kid. I hope it works out for him, but it's not looking that great right now.
Yeah, and it should also be noted that top Honda was Zarco in the main race. It looks like, which he didn't get any screen time during the race for some reason. I mean, that was definitely something to highlight on. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he finished 12th, 12th in the main race, and then for the sprint, he finished in 15th. Actually, no, that's the from your qualifying. But in the sprint, let's see, he finished down in 16th. And I think that he got beat out. So Mir beat him in that race. So the sprint, Mir beat him. For the full race, he was top Honda, which I'll take it for him. First race on the bike, brand new team, and it's the B team.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not the factory team that he's doing that on. So Zarco showing his experience out there.
So we should probably touch on the fantasy real quick, which we only have 5 people in the league right now, which I am deeply
yeah,
disappointed in.
let me pull
I
that
know
up.
some of you guys are playing the fantasy, but you haven't joined the league. It's just Florida Moto Talk. And I think we shared the link number code thing on the Facebook page a couple times too. But our Canadian friend, R6 Yamaha rider, who I think maybe BAF racing, that guy, maybe
Ooh.
winning right now.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
So I'm a 1.5 behind him, and then you're 4 points behind me, and my wife's 2 points behind you, and I have no idea who Fast Asses is, but they're fittingly bringing up the rear right now.
Nice. Yeah, we usually get a lot more people in this league. I don't know what's going on this year. We started advertising it and then less people joined it. How's that
I
work?
know. Last year we had 14, 15 with no advertising,
Yeah,
and
didn't
then
advertise at all.
this year we're like, hey, everyone join. We might even get you a T-shirt or something, and we get 5 people. So, which speaking of, I am ordering some samples of some T-shirts soon, and I'm just waiting because I'm going to be out of town and I don't want stuff getting delivered while I'm not here. But I'll have that early April, and we'll see how those work, and maybe we'll throw one of those up as a prize to whoever wins the league or whoever gets second behind me, of course.
Very cool. Very cool. Very
So,
cool.
but we'll see how those work out. But yeah, join the MotoGP league. Where as this grows, we'll man, John's got all sorts of crazy ideas about stuff to give you guys for winning the league. So, but we got to grow this into something that it's actually a bit of a challenge and a competition, and then we'll see what we can do with that. So
Oh yeah, lots more racing to do, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not that far down, and I got a lot of good picks coming up for the future for sure. I mean, my picks weren't bad for this race. I mean, I had Bagnaia, Jorge Martin. I went with the safe choice, but my silver riders were the ones that got me. I had Pedro, who was good, but then I had Raul Fernandez, who DNF'd for the second race, so that hurt me pretty freaking good.
I almost went Raul because he was
Mm,
flying, but
exactly.
yeah, I bailed on that one last minute, and it ended up working out.
Yeah. So easy. We'll bounce back for sure. Um, let's see. You wanna hop into some bike deals real quick, or you got
Yeah,
anything
let's
else
hit
you
that
want to do?
quick. Man, life is so crazy right now. I got about 10, 15 minutes before I got to take off, so
All
we'll
right. Well, let's
do
yeah,
we'll do a
lightning
quick run
round.
through. Dude, I don't even know when the next MotoGP race is. Is that this weekend or
It's not this weekend. It's actually
well, obviously the coming weekend. It's already Sunday.
yeah. I think because it was 2 week break. Yeah, I think it is this weekend. It's upcoming weekend.
Okay.
I
Cuz
should know that.
Argentina got canceled because they elected a lunatic. Um So yeah, which is probably bad news for Espargaro because he does well in Argentina.
Yeah, he has his moments for sure, but that's definitely one of them. I'm just ready to watch some more racing though.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
freaking wait. Yeah, 22nd through 24th, we are in Portugal. Which
Okay,
a buddy of mine that's actually on the Facebook page, he'll be at that race. He him and his wife are going over there for like a wedding vacation honeymoon gift kind of thing, and he's going to be at the races all weekend.
nice.
Envious, envious. We'll get him to post up some pictures on the Facebook page or something.
Yeah, my dad was at Phillip Island for World Superbike, and he'll be there again for MotoGP later in the year.
Yeah, it's our buddy Greg that's going to be out there. Greg, I know you're listening, so post up some pictures, man. We want to see all of that. But yeah, let's hop into these deals. Who you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Sure, I can go first. I don't mind. We're gonna kind of fly through these. Well, I don't know. I have no idea what you've got, but
Yeah, well, let me yeah, we can just blast through this real quick, get these deals out, get some people on some bikes. As soon as I can share my screen, we will be good to go. Track motorcycle for sale. Boom.
so I went with a 2009 Kawasaki Ninja 600 or yeah, ZX6R. I don't think it was a 636 in 2009, but who knows? They keep flip flopping back and forth. Um, so this one is unfortunately in Indiana, but the more I look at used bikes, the more I realize how affordable shipping is. So I think the biggest obstacle would be finding someone you know or trust to like go take a look at it for you. Um, but this thing's got a clean title, which is rare with track bikes. So that always makes me personally feel a little bit better. Otherwise, this thing is dialed. It's got an exhaust, ECU, quick shifter. You've got your bodywork plus a spare set. Um, I mean, the front suspension's got cartridges in it, Olin's shock on the rear end, uh, captive spacers front and rear. Which, man, after trying to change the front and rear tires at Jennings at lunch, I need to. I don't even know if they make a captive spacer solution for me, but I got to figure that out because it is awful on my bike. Um, but yeah, clip-ons, rear sets. I mean, basically, 4,800 is what they're asking. You can probably work on that a little bit if you wanted. Get a couple $100 off to cover your freight. But otherwise, as far as I can tell, this thing is turnkey. It's also low mileage, so that's pretty rare for a track bike with a title to be low mileage. Typically, they've been worn out on the street and then converted to track. But 6,000 miles is what he's saying. So all in all, probably the exact type of thing I should be looking at as my second or practice bike that I can be a little braver on and less worried about damaging rare Ducati parts. So, but it looks pretty clean.
Yeah, it looks good. See, we need to convert you to the Japanese family. I think that's what you need to happen is what you're telling me, because reliability is what we get with these Japanese machines right here. Don't
Yeah.
have to worry about switching out exhaust parts at the track and all that. You just go. If you crash it, you pick it up, just go some more.
Yeah. To be fair, it wasn't the bike's fault. It was the previous owner snapped the subframe, so the exhaust pipe was supporting the whole back end of the bike, and I fixed the subframe, but I never thought to do anything with the exhaust. So,
Gotcha.
but still, I mean, 1 in a million that someone nearby had that part. Whereas if you're on a Japanese bike at the track, there's a decent chance the guy sitting right next to you has the part you need. So,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sweet. Good deal. As usual, we'll post the links we'll put them on the Facebook page too, and then we'll put them in the comments for this video. And
I
so,
like the look of that generation of ZX6. I like the really thin, sharp look.
yeah, and that reminds me too. So with this year, with the 09, you can save a little bit of cash on these too, because they're the 599cc motors. They don't have the updated 636 motor in these. They started doing those in 2013 again.
Okay.
But yeah, you can save a couple dollars on them, but they run every bit just as hard. I see plenty of these at the track. It's just something to keep an eye on, just to save a couple bucks. But I don't think any of us would notice the difference between the extra CCs, especially with something that's built and tuned like this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna rip regardless. All right, let me hop over to my screen real quick, and we will look at one more deal. And here it is. All right, another Triumph. I know I don't want to hear it. Bringing you good deals. We're bringing good freaking deals. That's all that matters. And I don't think we've seen one of these yet. But I was looking around, found one in Florida this time, because I've been kind of straying away from Florida too. But this is over in St. Augustine, Florida. It's just south of Jacksonville. And it's a 2016 Speed Triple S, the 1050. And these bikes are a beast. And I guarantee you, probably like 8 in 10 riders has never seen one of these on the street, because it's, just like all the Triumphs, where it's a small community of people that ride them and actually know about them.
Yep.
More people kind of gravitate toward like the MT10s, the Yamahas, and the Z1000s and things like that. But Triumph makes a bike that's every bit as capable and has a little bit more character, because this still has the three banger in it, but it's got the larger displacement three banger in it, 1050cc. The inline 3-cylinder that Triumph is known for. It's just got the bigger one. 140 horsepower out the box at 9,500 RPM, 82.6 foot-pounds of torque. And then just like with Triumph, I mean, Triumph is a premium brand no matter what anyone says. So you get all the little extra tidbits that you like to have as well. You can get it with the adjustable ABS. You get this thing with the traction control, all the little bits that you need. Has the Brembo brakes on the front. I won't go too deep into all the specs on this thing, but for a bike that,
Single-sided swing arm.
you get get that Euro single-sided swing arm with it. For this one, he lists all the mods over here. This is the ABS model, 17K miles with a Hindle exhaust. They put the fender eliminator kit on it. Said he just put a brand new rear tire on it, and then adult owned out of St. Augustine. And
I never believe that shit when I read it. That guy's
yeah,
been wheeling that thing like crazy.
I just kind of gloss over that too. But I mean, it looks good. I mean, it looks clean to me. And like I said, if you like the 3 cylinders, if you like the Triumph brand, this big boy 3-cylinder is a beast. It's a wheelie monster. tasteful mods. I mean, just it was clearly set up for street with the fender eliminator on it with the handle on there. But if you want to, go get your daily coffee and look cooler than the Ducati guys, definitely look at the street triples here. um, but this bike, I mean, every bit of capable. I mean, it's going to be capable and it's going to be comfortable. You can take this thing on long rides. You can take it on short rides. In town, it's a lot of horsepower for riding in town, but this thing will really shine on the back roads, on the open roads. Down in St. Augustine, I lived in Jacksonville for a while, and all the roads out there are just like once you get out of St. Augustine and get out into the county areas, it's all flowy, just long county roads along the St. Johns River. And this bike would be perfect out there. But even up, I mean, I can see this bike ripping like in the mountains too, and Dragon's Tail. It's just it's a larger displacement bike. And let me be clear, this is not a starter bike for this one. I probably should have said
No.
that first. Probably should have said that first, but this is not going to be your starter bike. This is definitely going to be a bike for somebody that has a lot of experience with sport bikes, somebody who preferably has a lot of experience with the larger displacement bikes, because this bike, although it has a traction control, a 3-cylinder 1050cc motor is going to be a lot. The torque is going to be crazy. And if you don't have that that level of expertise and that precise throttle control, the bike can get you in trouble. It has the ABS too, but it also has the Brembos on the front. So same thing. I mean, it can still get you in a bit of trouble. Don't rely on the electronics to keep you completely safe and keep you from getting in a dangerous situation. But those aids, rider aids are there to help you out. And if you're a more experienced person looking for something that's a little bit bigger, something a little bit more comfortable, then definitely hop on this Triumph right here. They're asking $5,900 for it, but you know how we get down around here. Talk him down. If you could get this thing for 5K, I wouldn't even be worried about the 17K miles on it too much at all. Start it up, listen to it. If it sounds
It
good,
looks
you
super
know,
clean.
yeah. I mean, it looks clean. If it sounds good, and owner can I mean, even better if he has a service history. But most of the time, people do it themselves now. But if it's been kept up with, which it looks like it has, I mean, even the wheels are clean on this thing. I wouldn't be too worried. But yeah, definitely very, very unique bike right here. Single side swing arm, fully kitted out. Good buy for $5,000, I'd say.
Better service intervals than a Ducati, but you didn't hear that from me.
Yeah. There's another one. But yeah, I know you got to get out of here soon. So you got anything else, man?
No, we're gonna try to do our second interview with a pro racer this week. I'm not gonna put my life on it because things are hectic, but we're gonna try. If we do, we'll try to get that out next weekend. I know we're both working on a couple other how expensive is it videos. Um, mine's a little bit delayed. I was gonna kind of try to do it on site at Jennings last weekend, and then the shit hit the header pipe. Um, so again, I'm gonna be out of town for a week, so mine will be a little bit behind. But I know you've been working on yours. So through all the chaos, we're gonna try to keep things flowing. I think we're gonna try to figure out how to get to the track together in April. But who knows? I got exhaust gaskets coming so I can put my exhaust back together correctly. I got rear sets coming so I can go to GP shift, which is sure to be an absolute clusterfuck. Can't wait to miss 1,000 shifts next time at track. But yeah, otherwise crazy. Is your suspension back yet?
Still not back, and that's what's holding me up on my how expensive is it video too, because I'm gonna do one with my trailer, but I want to get the bike loaded up and everything before I do that too. So yeah,
Okay.
bike still in pieces, just still waiting on the suspension. Hopefully, I hear something this week and have a really cool video in the works for this week too that I'll try to get out before the weekend. It's another interview, and I guarantee you, Andy's not going to figure this one out. If he does, if he figures this one out, I'll buy him one of the T-shirts. He gets a free T-shirt on me if he figures this one out. But there ain't no way he's going to figure this one out because there's just no way. So we'll see.
So this one is. Are you teasing the pro racer we're doing or the other one?
The other one.
Okay, the other one. All right.
The
Yeah,
other
because
one.
I don't know. Andy's got his fingers and everything. I think he's going to figure out the pro racer before we announce that one. But
I would be impressed if he figured that one out too, because I go pretty far down the rabbit hole with the YouTube videos, and I found that particular person a while ago. So if
yeah,
Andy finds that guy, then he's just as deep in the trenches of YouTube as I am.
yeah. But we are always planning interesting content for you guys. It's just it's about finding the time to get it out there is basically the issue here. So not only are we busy, but the people we want to talk to are busy as well. So we do the best we can, and I'll have a track edit out hopefully this weekend. A little different from the normal stuff, but if you want to listen to my dumb music and watch my dumb riding, I'll have that out at some point as well.
Hear you cursing for the entire video.
Yeah, no, that's why the music comes in.
Very nice.
I actually did not swear at all. The whole video of me on the side of the track is just silent while I think. So
just a deep sigh.
yeah, just a very ominous, deep, dark silence.
Nice. Sounds like a great opening to the video. Sweet. Cool.
So
Well, yeah, sweet. Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. Hope everybody enjoyed. We'll drop the links in the comments. Join the Facebook page, and if you got any questions, also leave them in the comments. But we'll see you next time.
enjoying the fantasy. Bye.
Join the